So what I want to know from everybody is, have you had in these 2 days, or at any other time in your life, an experience of a part of yourself that has been untouched and uncorrupted by time and history? And or do you have conviction that such a part of yourself actually exists? One or the other or both is what I want to know. It's very interesting to kind of discover this. As I was thinking about it this morning, as I was getting ready to come over here. It's not really that hard to. What we're actually talking about, as like someone like the great Ramana Maharshi used to speak about, is not very hard to really find. It's actually self-evident if you know where to look. Self-evident. So, for example, you can see that in those times or those moments when you are undistracted by self-concern. You ever had a moment when you were undistracted? Some people never have those moments. But if you ever have a moment or two when you are undistracted by self-concern, you know what that means? It means a moment when you're not worried about yourself. When you're undistracted by self-concern, you're not worried about yourself, which is the big one. But then secondarily, you're also not worried about anything else. You're not worried about someone else. You're not worried about something going wrong. You're not worried about something that has gone wrong. You're not worried about something that could go wrong. You're not concerned with anything. There's really no particular kind of self-concern. So in those moments, unknowingly, we fall into what's called a natural state, where for some reason, deliberately or spontaneously, we experience a lack of self-concern. And so we fall into a kind of a natural meditative state where there's a calm abiding. There's just a calm abiding when we're not focused on anything in particular. You're not focused on anything in particular. So there's no particular thought, there's no particular memory, there's no particular desire, and there's no particular fear. So you just find yourself calmly abiding, not focused on anything in particular. And what you'll begin to notice, what happens in those moments, is you experience lightness of being. There's a lightness of being, or a kind of a natural state of joy, emptiness, transparency, and ease of being and lightness of being. And the reason that happens is because when your awareness is not focused upon or dwelling upon self-concern, you're not worried about yourself, and you're not worried about anything in particular, not worried about other people, past events, or future events, when for some particular reason you are experiencing a natural, a spontaneously arising state of consciousness where that's free from self-concern, you will, knowingly or unknowingly, find yourself experiencing a lightness of being. So that what rises to the surface, unforced, unsought for, just as a natural state, when your own awareness is not distracted by self-preoccupation or concern with anything in particular, you'll find that you fall into a natural, you'll experience, but coming to the surface, a state of spontaneous joy and lightness of being. Right? Just 1 second. Right?
Yes.
And that's kind of it. You just say, well, this is very interesting. If in those moments when my attention is not distracted by anything in particular, so you're not dwelling on anything in particular, so you're kind of unfocused, you're not focusing on this or that, you're not concerned with this or that, and you're not focused on this or that, and you fall into a natural state of calm abiding, where you're not focused on any particular thing, no thought, no object, time, memory, past, future, etc., etc. What will happen is, it'll happen, and I'm sure it's happened to you, you experience a natural state of calm abiding, and what you're experiencing is what the state or the actual nature of consciousness is as it is. It feels very differently when you or I or any one of us give our attention to thoughts and emotions and ideas and memories that create a sense of anxiety. You know, what they say in the traditional Dharma is desire, wanting. That's what the Buddha said. But it's desire, it's wanting, and it's fear, self-concern, preoccupation of any kind, any and all kinds of worry and concern about anything. You can even be concerned about very positive, wholesome, good things. But in terms of what we're speaking about now, any experience of concern or worry about anything will distract your attention. And so whenever your attention is distracted by any kind of fear or any kind of desire or any kind of concern, even for positive things, it doesn't matter, but any concern whatsoever, it takes you out of and away from this natural state of calm and abiding, which is the natural state of your own being, which is already the nature of your own consciousness as it always already is, without you having to do anything in particular whatsoever. And that, of course, is the great discovery. This is what Ramana Maharshi was constantly trying to remind people. You know, people say, what do I have to do to become enlightened? What do I have to do? And he was saying, but that's already your natural state. And they say, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? I don't get it. You know, what are you talking about? That's not my experience. I don't know what you're talking about. And he would, in his own, unique and very profound way, he was always pointing people back to the natural state of consciousness as it already is. And when you really get this, it's so ridiculous, as he said himself, it's so ridiculously obvious because it's always already the case as the nature of your own consciousness as it always already is. So because you're spending so much time in silence, I want you to really look and see for yourself. Check this out. It's really amazing. And this is a very conducive environment. So when you go out in the back and sit in those chairs there, you're just sitting in the sun. I want you just to check this out. Just begin to pay attention to the nature of your own experience as it already is. Just observe. You just have to, because you're in a retreat environment now. There's a meditative current flowing anyway. So this is going to be really easy. It's not like, you're in the middle of New York at a Starbucks trying to work this out. Not that it couldn't be done there, but it'd be a lot easier, a lot harder.